When life challenges you, when people doubt your worth, or when others try to diminish your value, it's easy to feel hurt or frustrated. There are times when someone might try to replace you, overlook your contributions, or simply question your capabilities. And let's be real, it's tempting to react with anger, frustration, or self-doubt. But here's the thing, you cannot let others shake your confidence, because no one else knows your worth like you do. In those moments, you must take a step back and remind yourself that your power is yours to own, and no one can take it away from you unless you allow it. I've been in situations where people tried to put me in a box, tell me I wasn't enough, or suggest that someone else could do it better. And while I could have easily let those moments define me or hold me back, I chose not to. The first thing I did was recognize that my worth was never up for debate. No matter what anyone says, no matter what opinions are thrown at me, I knew and still know the value that I bring to the table. It all starts with owning your power. The power that lies within you is not defined by anyone else's standards, expectations, or opinions. It's an internal strength, a quiet force that cannot be measured by external validation. The world may try to tell you that you're not enough, that someone else is better suited for a role, or that you're too much for this moment. But let me tell you something, those voices don't define you. Only you get to define your power, and it's time to take ownership of that. What does it mean to own your power? It means acknowledging the uniqueness you bring, the experiences that have shaped you, and the strengths you have developed over the years. Own the fact that you are resilient, that you have a track record of overcoming obstacles. Own the fact that you have put in the work, that you have learned from your failures, and that you've used them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. And most importantly, own the fact that there is no one on this planet who can replicate what you bring to the table. Your experiences, your perspective, your creativity, and your energy are unique to you. When you begin to own your power, the opinions of others lose their grip on you. You no longer rely on external validation to feel good about who you are. Sure, it's always nice to hear praise, but it should never be the foundation of your confidence. If you depend too much on others' approval, you give them the power to control how you feel about yourself. And once you do that, you've handed over control of your own life. Instead, stand tall and proud in your worth. Your value isn't up for negotiation, no matter how others try to diminish it. I also want to emphasize that owning your power doesn't mean being arrogant or dismissing others. It's not about putting someone else down to elevate yourself. It's about understanding that your success doesn't come at the expense of anyone else. It's about being secure in who you are and what you've achieved, while also respecting the journey and struggles of others. The beauty of owning your power is recognizing that there is enough room for everyone to thrive. Your light doesn't dim because someone else shines, and that's something you need to understand. You don't need to compete with others to feel worthy or powerful. When you own your power, you stop comparing yourself to others. You are your own standard, your own benchmark, and your journey is unique to you. Another key aspect of owning your power is letting go of the need for perfection. Far too many times, we hold ourselves back because we think we're not good enough, or that we don't have what it takes to measure up to some ideal. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. No one is perfect, and that's okay. What matters is the effort, the drive, and the commitment to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. You don't have to be flawless to be powerful. In fact, it's often our imperfections, our vulnerabilities that make us even stronger. When you embrace your flaws and work through them, you become more resilient, more adaptable, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. At some point, you'll realize that the people who tried to replace you or doubted your abilities were never really seeing you for who you truly are. They might have seen a version of you that they thought they could control, or they might have wanted you to fit into their mold. But the reality is, you were never meant to fit into their expectations. You are meant to create your own path, to chart your own course. When you stop seeking approval from others and instead start trusting your own instincts, that's when you'll unlock your true potential. Your confidence will no longer be fragile, dependent on others' opinions. It will be unshakable because it's built on your own self-awareness and self-worth. When you own your power, you understand that challenges are not there to break you. Instead, they are opportunities for growth, lessons that prepare you for the next level. They are stepping stones that show you how strong you truly are. Every challenge you face is a chance to prove to yourself just how capable you are. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, and trust me, the more you prove to yourself that you are unshakable, the less others will be able to doubt you or try to replace you. In the end, it's about remembering that you are enough. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because your power is already within you. Own it, stand in it, and when life tries to push you down, rise even higher. Let them see the force of nature you are, and they'll regret ever trying to replace you. So the next time someone tries to diminish you or replace you, don't get mad. Instead, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am powerful, I am enough, and no one can take my place. When you walk through life with that confidence, they'll regret ever trying to replace you. Because once you own your power, there's no going back. You are unstoppable. Life is unpredictable. It throws challenges at us when we least expect it. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is against us, and the more we try to move forward, the more obstacles appear in our path. We all face moments when we feel stuck, when it seems like progress is impossible, and when everything we've worked for is suddenly questioned or undermined. But here's the truth. No matter what happens, the key to overcoming these challenges, to rising above the adversity, is to keep moving forward. I've encountered many situations where giving up felt like the easier option. There were times when I could have allowed myself to be consumed by frustration, anger, and self-doubt. There were moments when everything felt too hard, when it felt like nothing was going the way I'd hoped. But I've learned that in those very moments, it is precisely the act of moving forward, even in the smallest of ways, that can make all the difference. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step closer to the person you want to become and the life you want to create. It's easy to get caught up in negative emotions when things aren't going your way. We all feel discouraged at times. We all question our abilities, wonder if we're good enough, and contemplate whether it's worth it to keep pushing. But in those moments, it's important to remember that feeling stuck is often just a temporary state. It doesn't last forever unless you allow it to. If you let yourself be defined by your setbacks, then you're giving up control. You're handing over your power to the challenges you're facing, and you're letting them dictate your future. Instead, the power lies in your ability to choose to keep going, even when it's hard. Keeping forward momentum is about understanding that you don't have to have everything figured out right now. You don't have to know exactly how things will turn out. You just have to keep moving, even if the path is unclear. Every small action, no matter how insignificant it seems in the moment, moves you closer to your goal. Whether it's making a phone call, writing a page, or simply taking a few moments to reflect and plan, each step is part of a larger journey. Even the days when it feels like you've accomplished nothing, you've actually made progress just by showing up. One of the most important aspects of moving forward is the recognition that setbacks are inevitable. They are a part of life. In fact, setbacks are not something to fear. They are opportunities to learn and grow. When things go wrong, and they will, it's easy to get frustrated, to ask why things are happening the way they are. But instead of dwelling on what's gone wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every failure, every challenge, and every disappointment is a teacher in disguise. It's showing you where you can improve, where you might have taken a wrong turn, and what you need to do differently in the future. The key is not to dwell in the past, but to look at what's ahead. Keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the road may seem. One of the most empowering things you can do when you face challenges is to focus on the long-term vision, not just the obstacles in front of you. Think about where you want to be, not where you currently are. When I've faced setbacks, I've had to remind myself that one moment of failure doesn't define me. It doesn't change my ultimate vision. Yes, it might delay things or cause me to reassess my approach, but it doesn't mean that my dreams are out of reach. The longer you focus on your vision, the less power the setbacks will have over you. They become just another part of the journey, not the end of it. As long as you keep moving, you're moving towards something bigger. And let's not forget that sometimes moving forward is not about making huge strides. It's about persistence. It's about showing up every single day, even when things don't go as planned. It's about choosing to take that next step, no matter how small. One of the greatest lessons I've learned in my career and life is that consistency is key. It's not always the big wins that make the difference. It's the small, daily efforts. Those small efforts compound over time and eventually lead to major results. So, even if you feel like you're not making significant progress, trust that you are. Keep moving forward, even on the days when it feels like nothing is changing. Trust that your efforts are building a foundation for something incredible. In times of adversity, one of the best tools you can have is your mindset. How you perceive challenges and obstacles will have a huge impact on whether or not you can keep moving forward. If you view every setback as a roadblock, something that can't be overcome, you will find yourself paralyzed by fear and doubt. But if you see those challenges as opportunities to grow, to adapt, and to become better, you will find the strength to keep going. Changing your mindset is the first step in changing your reality. Remember, what you focus on grows. If you focus on moving forward, you will naturally find the energy, strength, and courage to do so. It's also important to acknowledge that the people you surround yourself with can either help or hinder your ability to move forward. When life gets tough, it's easy to be around people who validate your frustrations and doubts. But what you really need in those moments are people who encourage you to keep going, people who inspire you to take the next step, no matter how small. Surround yourself with those who believe in your vision and will support you when things get tough. Their belief in you will fuel your own belief in yourself. In the end, the act of moving forward is an act of faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in the belief that things will get better. It's a choice to not give up, to not let failure dictate your future, and to stay focused on what lies ahead. The road may be long and the path may be difficult, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will get closer to your destination. When life gets hard, when things seem impossible, and when you feel like you can't go on, just remember this. Asterisk, the only way to fail is to stop moving. Asterisk, keep pushing, keep striving, and keep believing in yourself. Because no matter what, you will get there, one step at a time. There is an undeniable truth in life. Sometimes the best way to respond to those who try to bring you down, dismiss you, or replace you is not through words or confrontation, but through action, specifically success. It's the most powerful and satisfying way to prove not only to others, but to yourself that you are capable, resilient, and worthy. Success is the best revenge. Isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a mindset, a principle that can fuel your drive, and a strategy that can propel you forward when others expect you to fail or crumble. When others try to diminish you, don't engage in the negativity. Instead, let your success speak for itself, because there is no greater form of retribution than achieving what they never believed you could. The first step in this process is understanding that the desire for revenge or simply proving others wrong isn't about bitterness or hostility. It's about using your energy in the most productive way possible. Revenge, when fueled by anger or spite, often leads nowhere. It can cloud your judgment, waste your time, and divert your attention from what really matters, your growth and success. But when you channel that energy into your own work, into building something that's meaningful to you, that's when the magic happens. When you focus on doing better, not just for the sake of showing others that they were wrong, but because you know your potential and are committed to unlocking it, you start to create the kind of success that no one can ignore. People who try to diminish or replace you often do so because they don't fully understand your potential or the depth of your capabilities. They might underestimate you, or they might think you don't have what it takes to overcome the obstacles in your path. But here's the thing, they're not living your journey. They don't know the strength, resilience, and determination you have inside you. Instead of getting lost in their doubts or negative opinions, use it as fuel to show them, and more importantly, show yourself that you have what it takes to succeed. Let your actions, your work, and your progress be the loudest answer to their doubts. Success is not about making a public display of proving others wrong. It's about quiet confidence, about focusing on your goals, and about putting in the hard work to achieve them. The idea of working harder isn't about working more hours or sacrificing your well-being for the sake of success. It's about being disciplined, focused, and committed to continuous improvement. It's about pushing yourself to be better every day, even when others don't believe in you. Hard work requires consistency, patience, and effort, and it's through that consistent effort that success begins to materialize. Hard work isn't easy. If it were, everyone would be successful. It requires sacrifice, focus, and a willingness to push through the inevitable moments of self-doubt and exhaustion. But what's important to remember is that the reward of hard work isn't just the end result. It's the growth and transformation that happens along the way. Every time you push yourself beyond your comfort zone, you're growing stronger, more capable, and more resilient. Each day you show up and put in the work is a day you're one step closer to achieving your goals. And ultimately, those achievements will become the greatest form of revenge. It's also worth acknowledging that success isn't just about external validation. We often look for approval from others, especially when we feel rejected or replaced. We might think that if we succeed, others will finally see our worth. While that can happen, true success comes from within. It's about achieving something that you can be proud of for yourself, something that aligns with your values, your goals, and your vision. When you work hard to build a life or career that reflects your true potential, that is the most satisfying form of success. In the process of working toward your success, one thing becomes clear. It's not just about the result, but about how you approach the journey. Success doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. It's the result of a series of small, consistent steps, each one building on the other. The key is to stay focused on the process, not just the end result. When you focus solely on the destination, you risk missing the opportunities for growth that lie in the journey itself. One of the most powerful aspects of success is that it doesn't require you to fight or compete with others. You don't need to tear someone else down to prove that you are worthy or capable. Instead, success is about competing with yourself. It's about striving to be better than you were yesterday, to learn more, to grow more, and to continue improving. The more you focus on your own journey and success, the less you need to worry about what others are doing or saying. And when your success speaks for itself, it makes everything else irrelevant. You don't need to prove anything to anyone because your work, your achievements, and your progress do all the talking. There's also a level of peace that comes with success. It's the peace that comes from knowing you've put in the work, that you've been consistent, and that you've given your best effort. When you reach your goals, you can look back at the journey and know that you did everything you could. That's the ultimate form of satisfaction, and no amount of negativity from others can take that away. And when you achieve your success, whatever that may look like for you, those who doubted you, tried to replace you, or underestimated you will see that they were wrong, and they'll realize that they couldn't stop you. Your success will have been built on your efforts, your perseverance, and your belief in yourself. Success is the most powerful form of revenge because it doesn't involve any petty actions, fighting, or bitterness. Instead, it's a demonstration of strength, resilience, and determination. It's a reminder that no one can take away what you've worked for. When you focus on your own success and let your hard work speak for itself, those who doubted you won't have any choice but to respect the journey you've taken and the achievements you've made. So don't waste time focusing on proving others wrong. Invest that energy into creating something extraordinary. Let your success be the loudest and most satisfying answer of all. There is a certain power in embracing who you truly are unapologetically. We live in a world where people are often told to shrink themselves, to conform, to fit into predefined boxes, and to apologize for their uniqueness. But the truth is, you are worthy of being yourself exactly as you are, without needing to apologize or hide any part of your identity. The world needs your authenticity, your perspective, and your individuality. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself and step into your power by being unapologetically you. For so long, I believed that I had to live up to others' expectations. I thought that in order to succeed, I had to be a certain way, speak a certain way, and even look a certain way. I tried to conform, to please others, and to fit into the mold that society, and sometimes even my own family, expected of me. But no matter how hard I tried, I felt disconnected from who I truly was. It wasn't until I started embracing my true self flaws, quirks, and all that I truly began to shine. Being unapologetically you means no longer shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. It's about realizing that you have nothing to apologize for when it comes to your uniqueness. Every characteristic, every trait, every quality that makes you who you are is something to be celebrated, not hidden. Whether it's your intelligence, your creativity, your sense of humor, or even your imperfections, these are the things that make you, well, you, and the world needs that. It needs your voice, your energy, and your authenticity, because only through your true self can you make the impact you were meant to make. There's an incredible sense of liberation that comes from shedding the need to seek approval from others. We all crave validation, but constantly seeking approval can leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled. It's exhausting to live a life that's dictated by what others think of you. The truth is, no matter how hard you try, you will never be able to please everyone. And why should you? Your worth does not lie in the opinions of others. You are enough exactly as you are. And when you begin to accept that, something incredible happens. You stop worrying about what others think and start living for yourself. One of the most empowering things you can do is to stop apologizing for who you are. Too often, we find ourselves saying sorry for things that we have no reason to apologize for. Maybe it's for speaking our truth, for taking up space, for being successful, or for standing firm in our beliefs. But the truth is, you don't need to apologize for any of these things. You don't need to make yourself small for the comfort of others. You have every right to take up space in this world, to be proud of your achievements, and to express yourself fully. In fact, it's essential that you do. When you hide parts of yourself, you're depriving the world of the full potential of who you are. The world deserves to see your light, your talent, your passion, everything that makes you uniquely you. When you begin to embrace yourself fully and unapologetically, you start to attract the people and opportunities that align with who you truly are. Authenticity is magnetic. When you are true to yourself, you draw in others who resonate with your energy, your values, and your vision. On the other hand, when you try to be someone you're not, you may attract people or situations that don't serve you because they're not aligned with your true self. Authentic connections, whether in your personal life or your career, are rooted in truth. And only by being unapologetically yourself can you cultivate these meaningful relationships. Of course, being unapologetically you doesn't mean being rude or dismissive of others. It's important to remember that there is room for everyone to be authentic. It's not about being the loudest person in the room or forcing your opinions on others. It's about finding the courage to stand firm in who you are without seeking approval or permission. It's about embracing your values, your beliefs, and your vision for your life without allowing the fear of judgment to hold you back. It's about being authentic in every area of your life, in your relationships, in your work, and in your personal journey. In fact, the more unapologetically you are, the more you'll inspire others to do the same. When you step into your authenticity, you give others the permission to do the same. People are often waiting for someone to show them that it's okay to be themselves, to stand tall in their truth, and to live without fear of judgment. By embracing your authenticity, you become a role model for others, showing them that it's not only okay to be themselves, it's necessary. But it's not always easy. In a world that constantly tries to mold us into something we're not, it can be difficult to stay true to ourselves. There will always be external pressures from society, from family, from peers telling us how we should look, act, or think. There may be moments of doubt, moments when you wonder if it would be easier to just conform, to blend in. But remember, the cost of conformity is high. When you suppress who you are, you lose the essence of what makes you unique. You lose your voice, your passion, and your purpose. The truth is, the world needs more people who are brave enough to be themselves, to speak their truth, and to live unapologetically. Embracing who you truly are also means accepting the parts of yourself that you may have been taught to hide. It's about embracing your flaws, your imperfections, and your vulnerabilities. These aspects of yourself are just as valuable as your strengths. In fact, they often make you stronger. When you accept yourself fully, you start to break free from the shame or guilt that may have held you back. You begin to see that your imperfections don't define you, they simply make you human, just like everyone else. And by embracing those parts of yourself, you become more resilient, more self-assured, and more powerful. So, stop apologizing for being you. The world needs your authenticity, your uniqueness, and your courage. Own your story, embrace your flaws, and celebrate your strengths. When you stop trying to be what others want you to be and start being unapologetically yourself, that's when the magic happens. That's when you'll begin to see the full potential of who you are and the impact you can have on the world around you. The world doesn't need a version of you that's filtered or edited. It needs the real, unfiltered, unapologetic you, and it's time to let that shine. In life, there are countless things that can make us feel overwhelmed, anxious, or out of control. We constantly encounter situations, events, and challenges that seem beyond our reach. Whether it's a global crisis, the actions of others, or unforeseen setbacks, there are moments when life throws curveballs that are completely outside our ability to change. However, the key to finding peace and success in these moments is learning to focus on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. This mindset is not just empowering, it's essential for maintaining a sense of peace, direction, and resilience. The truth is that we spend far too much energy worrying about things we cannot influence. It's easy to get caught up in the what-ifs and the I wish I coulds. We dwell on the actions of others, the things that don't go our way, or the circumstances we cannot change. It's natural to feel frustrated or defeated when faced with obstacles outside of our control. But when we focus our attention on things we cannot alter, we waste precious time and energy that could be better spent on actions that actually lead to progress and growth. By choosing where to direct our energy, we can reduce stress, enhance our productivity, and maintain our mental well-being. One of the first steps in focusing on what you can control is understanding that there are only certain aspects of life within your reach. You can control your actions, your thoughts, your responses, and your attitude. Beyond that, there is little that you can truly influence. For example, you can't control the weather, the economy, or the actions of other people. But you can control how you respond to those situations. You can choose how to react when things don't go as planned. Will you allow setbacks to defeat you, or will you use them as opportunities to adapt and learn? Take, for example, a career setback. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, or perhaps a project you worked on didn't go as expected. While it may be easy to feel frustrated or discouraged, it's important to remember that you can't control the decisions made by others, such as your employer or colleagues. What you can control is how you respond to the situation. You can choose to take it as a learning experience, improve your skills, and position yourself better for the next opportunity. Focusing on how you can grow and what steps you can take moving forward is the most productive and empowering choice. Another key aspect of focusing on what you can control is shifting your mindset. Instead of viewing challenges as roadblocks, see them as opportunities to refine your approach, grow stronger, and become more adaptable. Often we spend too much time wishing for things to be different, but what if we embrace the idea that we are always in control of how we react? A positive mindset empowers us to look at every situation as a chance to make progress. Even when faced with situations that feel beyond our control, our ability to respond with resilience and perseverance is something we have the power to shape. Additionally, it's important to recognize that letting go of what you can't control doesn't mean giving up or being passive. On the contrary, it means acknowledging the limitations of your power and directing your energy toward things that are within your influence. It's about being mindful of your choices and learning to surrender to the process. You don't need to fight against things that are outside your control, as this only drains your energy. Instead, focus on what you can change, whether it's the effort you put into your work, the way you take care of yourself, or how you nurture relationships. When we try to control everything, we often end up feeling burnt out, anxious, and dissatisfied. We may try to micromanage every aspect of our lives, constantly trying to anticipate every potential obstacle or outcome. This type of thinking is exhausting and, in the long run, ineffective. By letting go of the need to control things that are simply beyond our reach, we free up space in our minds to focus on the present moment and what we can do to make things better. Take a moment to think about the last time you found yourself stressing over something you couldn't control. Perhaps it was the result of someone else's decision, a situation that was entirely out of your hands, or a global issue that affected you in ways you had no ability to change. Now, reflect on how much of your time and energy you spent dwelling on it. Did it improve the situation? Did it bring you closer to a resolution? In most cases, the answer is no. Worrying about things that you have no control over only creates unnecessary stress. And the more time you spend on this, the less time you have to focus on the things that really matter. One of the most effective ways to shift your focus is through mindfulness and self-awareness. Practice staying present in the moment and observing your thoughts. When you find yourself starting to fixate on things that are out of your control, gently redirect your focus. Acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them overwhelm you. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now to improve the situation? This simple but powerful shift in perspective can help you regain a sense of control and calm, no matter the external circumstances. Letting go of what you can't control also requires an understanding of patience. Life doesn't always unfold according to our timeline, and many things are beyond our immediate influence. Instead of rushing or forcing outcomes, trust that the universe has its own rhythm and timing. Allow things to unfold as they will, knowing that the best you can do is to remain steady, focused, and present. By focusing on what you can control, you are not only enhancing your well-being, but you are also setting yourself up for long-term success. Every time you shift your attention to the things within your control, you build your resilience and improve your problem-solving skills. You learn to respond instead of react, to take calculated actions, and to stay composed in the face of uncertainty. These are the qualities that lead to growth and achievement. Ultimately, life is filled with unpredictable twists and turns, but by choosing to focus on what you can control, you reclaim your power. Let go of what you can't change and free yourself from the grip of stress and frustration. Embrace the beauty of letting go, knowing that the only thing you can truly control is your response to life's challenges. This mindset will not only bring peace, but will also give you the strength to continue moving forward, no matter what obstacles you may face. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, constantly chasing the next goal or achievement. We often find ourselves so focused on what's next that we forget to take a moment to celebrate the progress we've already made. The big wins are important, no doubt, but it's just as crucial to celebrate the small ones. Recognizing and appreciating these smaller victories is not only a reminder of how far you've come, but it also fosters a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep moving forward. The small wins matter, and taking the time to celebrate them can make a significant impact on your overall well-being and long-term success. It's human nature to set our sights on the bigger picture, the promotion, the new home, the significant milestone that represents success. These larger achievements are often what we see as the true markers of progress. However, if we only focus on the big wins and neglect to celebrate the smaller steps that lead up to them, we can easily become discouraged or lose sight of how much we've already accomplished. Every small step counts, and every little victory is a building block toward greater success. By acknowledging and celebrating these moments, you not only honor your efforts, but also create a mindset of gratitude and positivity. Celebrating small wins is a form of self-recognition. It's easy to forget how hard you've worked when you're constantly pushing for the next thing. But when you take the time to celebrate even the smallest of accomplishments, you give yourself credit for the effort you've put in. It's a way of saying, I see you and I acknowledge the progress you've made. This simple act of self-acknowledgement can boost your confidence and reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving more. It's a reminder that every small effort you make is valuable and worth appreciating, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time. These small wins are also a reflection of your perseverance and commitment. Life isn't always easy, and the road to success is often filled with obstacles. Achieving anything, no matter how small, takes effort, discipline, and persistence. By celebrating these small victories, you reinforce the understanding that progress doesn't always have to come in leaps and bounds. It's about the consistent, steady steps that you take every day, even when things seem tough. Each small win is proof of your dedication, and celebrating it is a way of honoring the hard work you've put in, even when it feels like no one else is paying attention. Celebrating small wins also helps you stay motivated. When you focus only on the big picture, it can sometimes feel like you're running a race with no finish line. The distance between where you are and where you want to be can feel overwhelming, especially when it seems like progress is slow. But when you take a moment to acknowledge the smaller wins along the way, whether it's completing a challenging task, reaching a minor milestone, or simply making progress toward a larger goal, you create a sense of momentum. These small victories keep you energized and remind you that you are moving forward, even if it's one step at a time. Another important benefit of celebrating small wins is the positive impact it has on your mindset. The more you focus on your successes, no matter how small, the more you train your brain to look for the good in every situation. It's easy to get bogged down by negativity or setbacks, but when you consciously celebrate your wins, you shift your focus toward what's going well. This helps to cultivate a positive outlook on life and encourages you to keep going, even when challenges arise. It becomes a habit to recognize and appreciate the small things that go right, which ultimately improves your overall perspective and mental health. It's also important to recognize that small wins build momentum. Just as a small snowball can grow larger as it rolls down a hill, small victories can compound over time and lead to bigger successes. Every time you celebrate a small win, you are reinforcing the behavior and mindset that contributed to it. This creates a cycle of progress where each win motivates you to keep working toward the next one. Before you know it, these small wins add up to something much bigger, and you realize that the big achievements were simply the culmination of many smaller victories along the way. Sometimes celebrating small wins is a personal ritual, a way to honor your own journey. This might involve taking a moment to reflect on your accomplishments, treating yourself to something special, or simply acknowledging how far you've come. Other times, it might involve sharing your success with others. Celebrating with a friend or loved one can amplify the joy of the win and create a sense of connection and support. It's important to find what feels meaningful to you, as these moments of celebration can make the journey more enjoyable and rewarding. There's also power in acknowledging small wins as a form of self-compassion. Life is challenging, and we can be our own harshest critics. We often set high expectations for ourselves and push ourselves to do more, be better, and achieve faster. But celebrating small wins is a way of giving yourself grace. It's an acknowledgement that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that it's okay to celebrate each step along the way. This practice helps to counterbalance the negative self-talk that can arise when we feel like we haven't achieved enough. It reminds us that we are worthy of celebrating, no matter how small the achievement might seem. Even when things aren't going perfectly or you encounter setbacks, taking the time to celebrate small wins can be a powerful reminder of your resilience. It's easy to focus on what went wrong, but celebrating what went right even in the midst of challenges helps you maintain a sense of perspective. Every time you celebrate a small win, you reinforce the idea that you are capable of overcoming obstacles and making progress, no matter how difficult the road may be. In a world that often emphasizes the need for constant hustle and big achievements, it's easy to overlook the value of the smaller moments. But those small wins are the ones that add up over time, shaping your journey and leading you to greater success. By celebrating these victories, you not only honor your own progress, but also build the resilience, confidence, and motivation you need to keep going. So, take a moment today to recognize the small wins in your life. Whether it's something as simple as completing a task, making progress toward a goal, or just getting through a difficult day, celebrate it. These small victories matter, and they are just as worthy of recognition as the bigger milestones. By celebrating your wins, no matter how small, you create a mindset of success, gratitude, and perseverance qualities that will carry you through any challenge you may face.